Hey guys, and welcome back. So a few of you over on Instagram were asking me about moisturizers and whatnot, but I decided before we go into moisturizers, I want to talk today about hair porosity, because before you can go run off and buy any kind of moisturizer, you have to understand, or you need to know your hair porosity. It makes sense. But right before I get into it, I'm just gonna give you guys a few seconds to hit that subscribe button right there, sir. Right here. You press it. All right, let's get to the video. So first we need to understand, what is porosity, by the way? So porosity is your hair's ability to absorb moisture, absorb and retain moisture. So there's high, low, and then we have right in the middle, regular, or some people call it medium, but it's really regular. So if you have a regular porosity, God bless you, good for you. You are very lucky, very lucky. But I don't grudge you. I don't grudge you. Anyways, when you have low porosity here, it simply means that your cuticles are closed. They're tightly bound. And so because they're tightly bound, it's hard for moisture to get into your hair. And then sometimes you'll find that your products are just sitting on top of your head and your hair is just greasy but not moisturized. Because your cuticles are closed, it's not allowing anything inside your hair. So one of the best remedy to get rid of that, or the best remedy to get moisture into your hair, is to probably wash with warm water. But I'm not discussing that, I'm just talking about characteristics a little bit. And because your cuticles are so closed, you'll find that sometimes when you're washing your hair, the water, it takes forever to soak. It takes forever to get soaked because, again, the cuticles are closed, so the water cannot get inside. It's very hard for anything to get inside. Literally everything you put on your hair will just sit on top of it if you have low porosity. And just as how it takes forever to get wet, it takes forever to dry. Because once you get that water in and your cuticles close and seal everything inside of there, it takes forever to get back out. And so sometimes you'll find that you spend forever trying to air dry because your cuticles shut in everything. It also doesn't take color easily. So you'll find that if you have low porosity and you try to color your hair, it takes a while to get colored, and you probably have to do it more than one time before you can achieve the color that you want, because it just doesn't take it easily. Like I said earlier, because the cuticles are closed and the things are just sitting on top of your hair, over time your product will just start building up because it ain't going nowhere. It's just sitting there. And finally, low porosity here is also protein sensitive. What protein does, it helps to fill in gaps in your cuticles. But if your cuticles are closed, then there are no gaps. And so protein is just gonna be sitting on top of your hair, just like everything else. So now let's talk about high porosity. High porosity. What did I just say? Anyways, let's talk about high porosity here. High porosity here is protein deficient. And so if you have high porosity here, you might want to use a lot of proteins, but you don't want to protein overkill. And so, like, remember I said earlier that protein, it fills in the gaps in the cuticles. That's why you need protein, because with high porosity here, your cuticles are open, and so they leave gaps. And so protein comes now and fill in those gaps. So after you've done putting everything and your protein will now close them so that you can retain all that moisture. And like low porosity the low porosity proteins or moisture is hard to get in. With high porosity, it is easy to get in. And so with high porosity, you'll use some moisturizers or water or whatever, and you put it in your hair, and your hair feel nice and juicy, and then in no time at all it is dry and crispy, and you're like, what is happening here? Why is my hair so dry? I use all of this product in my hair. One, you probably never seal it properly, and two, chances are you just have high porosity hair. Easy to go in, easy to come out because the cuticles are open. I just saw the thing set. No, there's a misconception that people with high porosity hair, they get it because, you know, you just don't treat your hair properly and your hair is damaged. But that is far from the truth. You can get high porosity through genetics. You're born with it. Some of us are just born that way. It's genetically passed down. As well as you can just get it through exposure. I live in Jamaica. Out there very hot. Sometimes the sun is just pelting down. High porosity here also tangles easily, and it frizzes easily as well. So if you notice that your hair tangles easily or frizzes easily, chances are you have high porosity here. And most of us in the Caribbean, we probably have high porosity here. So now I'm going to give you 5 tests that you can use to determine if you have high or low porosity. Like I said, we're not discussing the middle one because that's just a regular. You don't have a problem with absorbing and retaining moisture. So we're not discussing that. Good? And again, these tests are not foolproof. So test 1, when you're washing your hair, check to see if as you wet it starts getting soaked easily, or if when you're wetting it takes a minute before it starts getting wet. Because if it starts getting wet almost immediately, you have high porosity. If it takes a while to get wet, low porosity. Good? Instead of just going into the shower to drench your whole head for the absorption test, what you can do is take, like, you know, a water bottle, spray some on top of your hair, and look to see if there are bubbles. If you see bubbles just sitting on top of your hair, it means you have low porosity. But if it absorbs and goes into the strand, it means, you know, high porosity. Number 2, there's the hair and body test. So this is where, and I don't really like this one. So hair and body test, when you wet your hair, you drench your body, and wait to see which one dries first. If your hair dries first, they say, it means that you have high porosity. But if your body dries first, you have low porosity. I don't really know if that is true, because again, I live in Jamaica and it takes no time for water to just evaporate off of me. It takes absolutely no time for water to evaporate and my hair will still be wet. However, my hair does take, it takes no time to get dry. It will just get dry. I'm not sure where I'm at, if I'm at 3 or 2. I don't know. So the next one is the strand test. Now this is where you literally take a strand from your hair. I don't know if I can find a strand that's loose. Okay, can you see it? And you literally just run your finger up and down on it. I have so many strands in my, I have to hold a few strands so that you can see. And you literally just run your finger up and down on it and to feel. Now, if it is smooth, chances are you have low porosity. If you can feel it a little bit rough, then you have high porosity. Now that roughness that you're feeling is the gaps in your cuticles. Good? So smooth, low porosity. Rough, high porosity. And then there's the product testing. Now this one is probably the best one. Now what you can do is put the product on your hair, and if your hair is if your hair gets moisturized, if it feels moisturized like almost immediately, it means that it is getting in. So that's a good determinant that you are high porosity or highly porous. But if you put it in and you find that your hair is just greasy, it's not really going in, your hair just greasy, but it still feels a little bit crisp, then safe to say you have low porosity. This for the final one, so I think I did 4, so this is 5. I think, forgive me, I'll correct it in numbering when I'm editing. The cup test or the float test, I tried this one and I'm gonna give you some footage of that. So this is where you wanna take a few strands from your head, put it inside the water, and if it floats, it means that you have a low porosity. If it sinks to the bottom, then you have high porosity, and if it goes into the middle thereabout, it means that it's regular. Now the science behind it is that because if it goes to the bottom, it's because the open cuticles allow for the water to get inside and weigh down the water and weigh down the strands. But if it floats to the top, it means that your cuticles are closed, so it floats. However, the argument surrounding the float test is that our hair has natural oils, and so because our hair has natural oils, it's going to automatically float, and everybody has to complain that their hair still floats when they put it in. However, when I did it, my hair sank to the bottom. It went straight down to the bottom when I did it almost immediately, and my hair wasn't even cleaned, because they recommend that you do it on cleaned hair just to ensure that, you know, it will do what it's supposed to do. It will be free of oils. But I did mine on greasy hair, and it went to the bottom, to the very bottom, not even the middle, but it went to the bottom. When I put it in there, it started sinking, and after about 2 minutes it was there, and then by the time I looked again, it was at the very bottom. And so I put some more in, you know, just to make sure. I put some more strands in there, and it did the same thing. So there you have it, guys. High porosity, low porosity. Low porosity is, and I'll probably put some low porosity things right there. You see them? Good. I know. And high porosity. So in the next video, I'm going to discuss high porosity here. That's what I have. So we want to go a little bit more into high porosity here, and then we can start determining the type of products to use for highly porous hair. So until next time, guys, me and me, you are you, walk good.